Welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your Arsenal starting 11. Arsenal take on Luton tonight in the Premier League. It's another chance for us to go 5 points clear of Liverpool and 6 points clear of Manchester City. The tables have actually turned. The last time I was on this show, Arsenal was sitting 4th on the Premier League table, and now we are first with a chance to go even 6 points clear of course, Manchester City, who I think are the biggest title contenders apart from ours. So hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. What kind of changes would you love Mikel Arteta to make in this game? Because I think he's done well in terms of squad rotation. He's done well in terms of player rotation. Although we are still suffering a couple of injuries, but I like the way he has swapped Ben White and Tomiyasu on a couple of occasions. Tomiyasu and Zinchenko on the other occasions as well. I like that. I think he's becoming more and more aware as a manager that you cannot have one player play 38 games in a campaign in this day and age. Games are coming in thick and fast. They're longer. You're playing 100 minutes plus. And I think it's more competitive. We are playing in the UEFA Champions League where we have absolutely done well. And we are also playing in the Premier League where we're expected to win it or even to go as high as 90 points. I think Mikel, in terms of squad rotation, like I was complaining about, he's actually done very well there. So a round of applause to Mikel Arteta. But in this one, I think Mikel will be looking to work on a couple of things. One is chance creation against Luton Town. They have just lost 3-1 to Brentford in the last game. And I tell you what, Brentford are really struggling in terms of scoring goals. So if Brentford have just killed them with a 3-1, Arsenal are expected to go there and probably make it a wonderful evening. 4-1 could be nice, 5-0 could even be better. So I think this is one thing Mikel will be looking at. Can we actually test our machines? Can we test our goal scoring and goal converting skills against Luton Town? And I think, listen, I think we can. We've seen it with Lens. We've literally blown them away. And yeah, it's not a pleasant experience when you are a Lens fan. But as an Arsenal fan, I really, really did love that. So let's get into who starts in this game. Now, I think the three from Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba are now nailed on. I don't expect to see big changes from Mikel Arteta when it comes to Gabriel, Saliba, and David Raya. However, it wouldn't really hurt if we saw Kivio start at centre back and probably rotate Saliba. You probably rotate Gabriel as well. I would love to see that kind of rotation, especially now that you have that Liverpool game, coming in very, very soon, and you also have that Brighton game coming in very, very soon as well. Those are games where you will need your best centre-back pairing. Those are games where you will need your best 11. But I don't expect Mikel to actually change anything. So Gabriel, Saliba, and David Raya. I want you to know your thoughts about Raya so far. Actually, I think Aaron Ramsdale had kind of a howler against Brentford. He had a very, very poor game. He did keep a clean sheet, but I don't think that clean sheet actually depended on how good he was on the evening. It was actually how good the reflexes of Declan Rice were and how quick the anticipation of Alexander Zinchenko was to clear both instances, to clear the ball off the line, right? So I think David Raya is now nailed on. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal will be signing David Raya on a permanent in 2024. It just feels like Ramsdale is slowly but surely being pushed away from the number one spot. And from, with that performance that we saw against Brentford, it doesn't give the manager any kind of confidence to actually go, how about we actually give Ramsdale a chance? Now, I would love to see Ram in goal in the FA Cup. I would love to see him in the in the last game of the group stages of the UEFA Champions League. I want to see him given chances because I don't think it has been fair. I think the game has been a little bit unbalanced and tilted towards David Raya. I think Mikel has favored Raya more. And the reasons are very clear. Raya has been a very good addition to the squad. He's been a very good goalkeeper ever since coming into this Arsenal side. So I'm gonna go with Raya in goal. Gabriel and William Saliba. Everyone has said it, and I'm going to be the last person to say it. Arsenal win the league last campaign with William Saliba uninjured. I think Arsenal will win the league this season if that centre back pairing remains and Timber comes back early. I think we do win the league because if you have Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Tomiyasu with his form, Ben White with his increasing and always getting better, I think Arsenal in a very good shape. Like, and we're in a very good place. So that will be my centre back pairing. No changes. And the goalkeeping department, no changes as well. Now, at right back, we have seen Tomiyasu play there, especially in the last game, and he was really good. But then he was also even better when we played Lens away, at home, at the Emirates Stadium. He was absolutely very, very good. But I do like Ben. I really, really do. Now, I think Mikel has decided to rotate him. He did pick up a slight injury, but we have seen him come into games, which shows that his fitness levels are actually there. But I'm still gonna go right. I'm still going to go right back. I'm still going to go Tomiyasu. I would love to see him, get more games until he signs that contract. Now, there is Bayern asking questions about him. According to Florian Plettenberg, Bayern is one of the clubs interested. He's a very reliable German source. I think Tomiyasu is one to keep for me until the end of the season, and then we can talk about him leaving or him staying. But before that, he's one to keep. I would not really consider selling Takara Tomiyasu. Quality player, quality backup for so many areas. He can, cover up for for Saliba. He can cover up for Ben. He can cover up for Alexander Zinchenko. It's why I like him. It's literally why I like him. He's a player that gives you a lot at the same, price and the same quality. You don't find that in many players. We always talked about Ainsley Maitland-Niles, how versatile he was, how flexible he was, but he wasn't as good as Tomiyasu. Have you seen him play at right back? Have you seen that assist he's made for Odegaard, and an even better assist for Gabriel Martinelli against Lens? This guy is absolutely a cheat code. And I think he's becoming better under Mikel Arteta. When he first came in, he was kind of a ruthless centre-back. He could give you that centre-back vibes. Now, he is literally everything. He's literally a right back. He's literally a left back. And he can also play as centre back. I think Arsenal just have a very good player in there. So let's continue rewarding him. I think Ben will come back in the lineup, anytime soon. Right, a left back, Alexander Zinchenko. This is his game. These are these kind of games. Mikel has been talking about him and how he thinks that Zin is going to become, an important player for Arsenal. And it says, every player has his strengths and weaknesses. Zinchenko is one of the few players that really, really tell you much about that. And I couldn't agree more. I think this guy, I would love to see him in midfield. I would love to see him left 8 because he's played there for Ukraine, and I've watched him there for Ukraine, and he's absolutely unstoppable. Like his creativity, his understanding of the game, reading of the game, how calm he is and how composed he is on the ball. He's a midfielder. He's literally a midfielder. But like Mikel says, when you have him at left back and when you improve his defending skills, what that does, it creates you another position, which is left 8, where Trossard can play, where Kai Havertz can play. And that means that now you have a creative Zinchenko, a creative Kai Havertz or Trossard, and a creative Martin Odegaard on the pitch. And I think that's what Mikel is trying to achieve with Alexander Zinchenko playing out wide. So let's go with Zinchenko, left back. I really, really like him this season. I really do. I think he's improving, and I think that the few errors and the few areas that he's got to work on, he's actually working on them, right? For example, that goal we conceded against Trent in the at the Anfield last campaign, if Alexander Zinchenko just puts that ball out for a corner, we probably don't concede that goal. Now, we have had issues in the midfield, and this is where I would really want your contribution, guys. I don't know, but I kind of think Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard is a better partnership than Rice, Odegaard, and Trossard. Now, I know many people really do like Trossard at that left eight, and I really, really do like him to be as part of the starting 11. But I don't think we're getting the best out of him. It's either Mikel is trying to be patient with him in that position, or either we are not getting results and we need to change it up a little bit quicker, right? Now, so I think nailed on here is Declan Rice, because I think with Declan Rice, there are no two thoughts about it. There are no two ways about it. He is unstoppable. Right now, he is Arsenal's most important player. I'm sorry, I've got to say it. I've got to say it. He is our most important player. Clearing balls off the line, scoring late winners against Man United, assisting. This guy is he's not a bargain. I don't think he's a 100 million pound bargain, but he is a joke. He is an absolute joke. He's one of those signings that just come into the side, fit in very well, and everything looks normal. Everything seems so easy. He makes you feel Arsenal, have been with him for years. He's not been here a year. Actually, he was signed in August. Okay, probably not in August, but in July, around July, and we are not even 6 months in, and this guy is one of the most consistent performers at the club. Actually, I'm gonna say this: apart from Declan Rice and William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes is the only other player that I think has been really consistent at this point in time. There was a dip in Saka's form. There was a drop-off in Martinelli's form. Gabriel Jesus, of course, he has that good day, and then he has that, not good day. Odegaard has struggled. Kai Havertz has struggled before picking up his form. Leandro Trossard, I think he will come around this season as well. So Declan Rice, William Saliba, and Gabriel Magalhaes, those are the three most consistent Arsenal players. And actually it explains why the other part of the game where we've got to score goals has been a little bit down. It's just coming up. And this part where we have to defend against conceding, we're actually doing really, really well. Arsenal have only conceded 10 goals this season so far. And that is good. That is really, really good. We have the best defense in the Premier League so far. And to put that into perspective, Manchester City just signed a 100 million pound centre back on, to add to Akanji, Ruben Diaz, and John Stones, who is actually injured right now. But you get the point. So, Rice, we are lucky. We are really, really lucky to have him. It's an honor that he's an Arsenal player right now. So, alongside Declan Rice, instead of Leandro Trossard, I'm going to say this, instead of Leandro Trossard, I would love to see Kai. I would love to see Kai rather than Leandro Trossard. And why I would love to see Kai, it's easy. I think Mikel as a manager is kind of a genius, and we've got to give that to him. He's a big genius. He's identified the weaknesses of Arsenal, and he signed a player who actually fits to those weaknesses, and he doesn't fit the picture of what the fans, me and you, want to see or even see. So when we brought in Kai, we all thought he's going to be a 20-goal machine, because if Xhaka was scoring 7, and assisting 7, 14 goal contributions in that area, how about you bring in a Kai who is actually more of a German goal scoring maestro, kind of Florian Wirtz vibes? You could be having many goals. But I don't think that is why he signed him. I actually don't think Kai is there for the sole purpose of scoring as many goals as we anticipated. I think Kai is there to add that kind of physicality to that midfield. So when you have Declan Rice and you have Kai Havertz, you have two very, very aerially able players, but then you also have two very good players on the ball. So Kai on the ball, we've seen it. He's got that creative eye and he can score a goal, but then he's got that ability to fight for the ball. And when we are in control, I don't think you're really scared that Kai is going to be the one losing the ball. Not Declan Rice, not Martin Odegaard either. So it brings out that element of what he actually wants in Kai Havertz. So I want him to play in this game, not because he will score, but of course he can score. It's Luton, and if he scores, it would actually do him a world of good. Alongside him then should be Martin Odegaard, who has actually become a little bit better in terms of picking up his form. I don't know if you guys have actually noticed, but I like the way Odegaard has played the last two games. The one against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he scored, got onto the score sheet, but his distribution in that game, class. The one against FC Lens, again, where he got onto the score sheet, but look at his distribution and look at his hunger to create. Because when you have Martin Odegaard kind of contented and he's not trying to create, and he's not hungry to create for more goals for the team, then there is a problem. You have a very, very big issue. So with Odegaard coming back into his creative mind, with Kai Havertz getting into his goal-scoring form, and with Declan Rice now being able to drive the ball from deeper areas of the pitch, from our own end to the opponent's half, I think Arsenal finding their right midfield. It was always going to be our right midfield. It was just a matter of time. When were we going to play that like that? When were we going to play the three of them? They're actually producing some kind of magic. You've got to watch it, right? You've got to watch it. Okay, front three should be easy, shouldn't it? Left wing Gabriel Martinelli. Now, I have a problem with Gabriel Martinelli, and I think I'll do a video about him. He is our most reliable finisher at Arsenal. But this season, he's actually not scoring goals. This season is actually not giving me that sharp Martinelli end that I want to see. And if he wants to become one of the best players in this league, if he wants to become one of the most important Arsenal players, he's got to be consistent. If you think about Saka, the first thing you think about is goal contributions. But then the second thing that Saka has over Gabriel Martinelli is consistency. He's a more consistent player, and I think he's more consistent than Gabriel Martinelli in each and every way. Dribbles, goal contributions, let goal, contributions, game changing. He's actually a more reliable player, but I still think Gabriel Martinelli is a more endorsed talent than Saka. So I want to see more creativity from Gabi, but I want to see more goals from Gabriel Martinelli. I don't think he's scoring enough, right? I don't think he's getting into goal-scoring positions enough. That could be due to the change of things, the way we've changed up, but I still want to see him scoring more goals. At centre forward, obviously it's going to be Jesus. At this point in time, we will have to think about getting a striker. I don't think Eddie has proven or has done himself any favors by dropping off in form at a point where the club really needed him the most. And I think Mikel will be, in agreement with all the fans and all the parties out there saying Arsenal do need a number 9, because Gabriel Jesus has just shown us that he can shift to the left, shift to the right, and give us the same results, which are absolutely insanely quality. Then Saka, obviously, star boy, our most important attacker this campaign, most consistent attacker as well. Guy doesn't pick up injuries, and when he does, when he comes back, he'll make sure that he will score an assist. Look, I think one thing I'm going to say with Bukayo Saka is he's developing steadily, and he will have that one campaign where he absolutely blows up. I think he's announced himself as one of the best not teenagers, but one of the best youngsters in the league. But he just needs that kind of season where he blows up. Like, I don't know, a Jack Wilshere season, a Theo Walcott season, like he goes 20 goals, 15 assists. If he does that, and probably in that season Arsenal win the league, or in that season Arsenal win the Champions League, I think Arsenal will have a big problem to try to keep Saka at the Emirates Stadium. But that is my starting 11 against Luton Town. It should be a goal-scoring game. Arsenal should be scoring games in this one. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you right in the next one.